Matt Bernier, joined by DRF National Handicapper Mike Watchmaker, the second of three for this weekend's Weekend Warrior. The second race we'll take a look at down at Laurel Park on Saturday afternoon, the Grade 3 General George, 7/8 of a mile. 10 horses are entered in here. You can go a few different ways in here, Mike, but you chose to go with the ever-consistent Stall Walking Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I like Stall Walking Dude as a racehorse. I mean, you can't help but admire this horse. Much the same with Paige McKenney, who's in this race, but also entered in the Campbell 2 races before this race. And by the way, I just recently traded messages with Jim Dunleavy, who's our Mid-Atlantic reporter, right before we doing this taping. And at this point, Mary Upler is still undecided as to what race she's going to run Paige McKenney in. But even if Paige McKenney runs in the General George, I like Stall Walking Dude. You know, people might be inclined to be harsh and hard on Stall Walking Dude because he lost the toboggan last time out at 4-5. He finished third. He was a narrowly beaten third in that race. But, you know, that was a day where the rail was absolutely the place to be on the inner track at Aqueduct. I mean, it was close to being golden. And Stall Walking Dude was in traffic and steadied and in trouble in between horses for virtually the whole run around the far turn, and he only saw the rail very briefly an upper stretch before he angled out to make a run. So he was not on the best part of the racetrack for the vast majority of that race, and he got beat a neck for all the money. I mean, he was a solid stakes winner. 2 starts back, his win in the Bold Ruler at this 7 furlong distance 4 back, I think is good enough to win this race. And I know that he was nailed in the last jump in the Fall Highway 3 starts back by Heaven's Runway, who's in this race. I am not a handicapper that lends a lot of credence to weight. I think when you're talking about, you know, 1,200, 1,400-pound animals, a pound or 2 or 3 won't make any bit of difference. But the Fall Highway is a different beast altogether. And in that race, Stall Walking Dude was conceding 11 pounds to Heaven's Runway, and that's a significant weight concession. And on Saturday, they're carrying equal weight. So I think that's meaningful. That's a meaningful factor for weight. Otherwise, you know, a pound or 2 here or there doesn't mean a thing. But, you know, Stall Walking Dude is very consistent. He was up against the track last time out. You know, he likes this distance. I just think he's very solid.
You mentioned Heaven's Runway, obviously another contender in here. You have Imperial Hint coming out of that fire plug where he scored by open lengths. Also has the highest last out buyer in the field with a 100. Voluntario is one of a number for Rudy in here. You have Ocean Knight and the razor sharp of Fleet Willie, who's going to get the class test here, the local hope. Anyone else in here do anything for you to go with Stall Walking Dude?
Well, the horse I'm kind of like looking at, but with a caveat, is Classy Class, one you didn't mention. And Classy Class is also coming out of the toboggan. And Classy Class, for some reason, and it's a little bit disconcerting to me, showed absolutely no interest or early speed at all in that race. I mean, he was way out of it early and very uncharacteristic for him. And usually when a horse does that, especially a horse who's, you know, getting up there a little bit in age and might be on the, you know, downward arc of his or her career, it's a troubling sign. I think it's very interesting that Kieran McLaughlin is running him right back. And so maybe I shouldn't make too much out of it. He was on the inside for much of the run down the backstretch in the toboggan, which was the better part of the racetrack. But he angled out sharply in upper stretch, and he was way out in the middle of the racetrack for the entire stretch run, and he was beaten less than 2 lengths for all the money. He did a little bit of running late, nothing special because the race was tying up near the finish, but he did some running late. And I think he can improve off that effort. And, you know, I'd like to see him more involved early. And I think, you know, he's the kind of horse that's going to fall in between the cracks in this race.
Race number 10, Saturday afternoon, Laurel Park, 7/8 of a mile on the main track. It's the Grade 3 General George, a field of 10. Mike's going to go with the ever-consistent number 6, Stall Walking Dude for David Jacobson and Irad Ortiz Jr. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the third and final race for this weekend's Weekend Warrior. We'll go down to Florida, Tampa Bay Downs. We'll take a look at the Minaret.